All right, let's get into our first discussion now. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his address to the nation, says that he was constantly informed of unfolding events in Nigeria, especially in the discussion of its affairs on social media.
Well, the president says he was distressed by the views expressed by some people.
Nigerians are robust and lively in discussing their affairs. But I was distressed to notice that some of the comments, especially in the social media, have crossed our national red lines by daring to question our collective existence as a nation. This is a step too far.
All right, that was from excerpt from yesterday's address to the nation by the president. We have the president of the Youth Council Worldwide, Barrister Owelami Pere Otubo. Did I get it correctly?
Yeah, you got it right.
No, let me pronounce it correctly. Let me hear.
The name is Barrister Owelami Pere Otubo.
Pere Otubo, exactly. Nice to have you join us, really.
Thank you very much.
I know you've been following all of this from the start, but let me start with, before we even go into the content, let me talk about the tone or the language generally. How comfortable or dissatisfied are you from the tone of the president's speech?
Yeah, thank you very much. On behalf of the Ijaw Nation and particularly the youth of Ijaw Nation, I must say that we are okay with the speech of Mr. President. Okay. We are very okay. It's some level of sincerity of purpose in the speech that I saw.
I foresee that good things on the offing for the Niger Delta region, especially some pending decisions that have not been taken so far or effected so far. Yeah,
sure, because you will agree with me that the vice president, now the acting president then, had made some far-reaching pronouncements while our president was on medical vacation. And it's expected that now that he's back in charge as the president of the country, the people of the Niger Delta expect Mr. President to immediately take it on from where the acting president stopped, so that we will have the expected peace in the Niger Delta. The acting president has said so many things that we expect the president to act on immediately in a couple of weeks. If that happens, it will help the situation. All right.
Yeah. If we have to go into all those, what do you expect that the former acting president, all the pronouncements he made, what are the things you expect the president to take up from there? Okay.
One key thing that the acting president then, as it were, said that major problem we have in the Niger Delta region is oil extraction and oil exploration. But unfortunately, most of these companies are not domiciled in the Niger Delta region. As part of the tours embarked upon by the vice president, he made a pronouncement that all the IOCs who operate in doing businesses in the Niger Delta should immediately relocate their offices back to the Niger Delta. That was key to us. And if that happens, we have said it severally, I've said it in different forums, and I'm continuing to say it until that happens, that it's expected that the president will immediately put action to that and to make sure that that happens. If that happens, it's going to help the situation in Niger Delta and the Nigerian state. Because if that happens, it's going to create job opportunities, youths will be employed, and it will reduce the youth restiveness in the Niger Delta. All right. And as a result of that, going by the pronouncement made by the acting president then, we as the Ijaw Youth also gave an ultimatum of 90 days from the 12th of July. 90 days start counting from the 12th of July to the IOCs to ensure that they move back to the Niger Delta region.
All right. Yes. Okay, so away from the issues concerning the Niger Delta region, let's look at what some of the things the president didn't talk, didn't talk about. Yes. And one of the loudest topics so far is the topic of restructuring. And he didn't say anything about that. Of course, there have been groups, a factional president of your group, Eric Omari, said in the media that the president shouldn't say because he's back and discard all agitations by IPOB and then by many Nigerians for restructuring. You think, because he said in his own statement that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable, and it's a wide agreement by many.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me correct the impression first that we have a factional president in the Niger Youth Council. We don't have a factional president. Somebody choose to call himself a factional president is not enough to say that he's a factional president. I'm aware that you may have been following up the trend how I became president. I was elected by Job people, and as far as the Job Nation is concerned, I'm the president. And if somebody decides to sit down in one place and say he's a factional president, well, I'm not aware of that. That is a discussion for another day. I'm not too bothered about that. I have a responsibility to speak for the Job people, and that is why I'm here. Now, going to the question you have asked, the president didn't talk about restructuring. Yeah, that is correct, but of course, that is just a speech. You don't expect everything that you expect the president to do in a written format. The president had just returned from a sick leave, and is still getting to settle down. And I want to call on Mr. President, whether it was restructuring, which is very key in the country. Everybody's agitating that we must restructure, that we must sit down.
So IYC believes in the call for restructuring?
We perfectly agree with the call. In fact, we are actually saying that we must restructure this country. That's why we are saying that we must sit down and discuss as a people. We are not saying we want to leave Nigeria on the condition that people, stakeholders, as we are, must sit down and discuss our fate because we are equal stakeholders. And that's what we are talking about. We must restructure this country for us to live together as a people. It's very key. Whether the president stated that in his address or not, I think is immaterial because you can't have everything in an address. But I'm assuring everybody that the president has just returned and is aware, like he said, he's been in touch even though he was out of the country, and he will know that restructuring is important. That is what everybody is saying in Nigeria. And I don't expect Mr. President to do something else. Mr. President should immediately put machineries together to ensure that we sit down. It's not about the Niger Delta alone. Everybody, people are agitating, the southeast, southwest, south, everybody is asking for one thing or the other. And that's why it's important for us to sit down and talk to ourselves. And that is restructuring. True federalism. That's what the Niger Delta people want.
You're right. Let's look into people's agitation generally. There's been backlash from the presidential speech or address yesterday. I know you've been talking to a lot of people, but from your perspective, why are people so dissatisfied by the president's address and speech yesterday?
People are dissatisfied because they're expected to see or hear some basic things in the address, like restructuring. Maybe they were expecting that the president would have come to say, okay, today, as I'm coming back, as I'm back in the country, we are going to restructure, we are going to do that. But, you know, it's not done that way. We should allow him to sit down. You know, I told somebody, some persons calling my phone yesterday to get my view about my speech. I told them that Nigerians, as we are in a Thanksgiving mood because our president was away, and we prayed, Nigerians prayed to make sure that our presidents come back alive. And he came back, so we are happy. So I expect that we allow him to settle down to handle. Presidents are aware of these things. The problems were there before he traveled. And like he said, even while he was away, he was abreast with the issues that were in the front burner, and he has come back. And I'm sure that the president will immediately, and is expected that he should do that. It's important. For us to live together as a people, it's important that the president should immediately do some basic things for us to have faith in this country to live together.
All right, so let's give you another extraction from the president's speech. Well, the president, Muhammadu Buhari, expressed concerns over hate speeches, promising that its proponents will be dealt with.
Is settled and not negotiable. We shall not allow irresponsible elements to start trouble, and when things get bad, they run away and settle others with the responsibility of bringing back order, if necessary, with their blood. Every Nigerian has the right to live and pursue his business anywhere in Nigeria without let or hindrance.
Well, President Buhari conceded that there are legitimate concerns and grievances across the country, but urged aggrieved parties to channel their concerns through constitutionally approved bodies.
To deny that there are legitimate concerns. Every group has a grievance, but the beauty and attraction of a federation is that it allows different groups to air their grievances and work out a mode of coexistence. The national consensus is that it is better to live together than to live apart.
The president there. Now, let's continue with you now. Talking about hate speeches, the president said apart from waging total war against insurgents in the northeastern part of the country, that anyone engaging in hate speech and any form of secessionist plan in the country would be thoroughly dealt with. Now, Northern Group in the north gave ultimatum to people from the southeastern part of the country to leave 19 states of the north. The Kaduna State governor said that the police should get them arrested. Members of that group should be arrested. No arrest was made. And then, of course, looking at the ultimatum and then hate songs against these people from the southeastern part of the country, so far nothing has been done. And with this now, the president's coming out to say that people engaging in hate speeches would be dealt with. Do you believe gave ultimatum to people from the southeastern part of the country to leave 19 states of the north? The Kaduna State governor said that the police should get them arrested. Members of that group should be arrested. No arrests was made. And then, of course, looking at the ultimatum and then hate songs against these people from the southeastern part of the country, so far nothing has been done. And with this now, the president's coming out to say that people engaging in hate speeches would be dealt with. Do you believe, are you confident that it's going to be an across-board clampdown, not on a particular person, especially Nnamdi Kanu, as he was arrested in the past?
Yeah, thank you very much. If I heard the president very well, it's against hate speeches and hate songs across boards in the country, particularly in the northern region. And he has said it clear. Whether you are not pleased with what is happening in the country or not, you don't need to go that far. You don't need to threaten a group of people to leave your community, your state. Because the Constitution allows, like what Mr. President has said, the Constitution allows all of us to live anywhere and do businesses. So people should not be giving out warning and quit notices and hate speeches. But the question is key. By the time the president and the presidency would want to act on people who are dishing out hate speeches, it should be across board. It should not be targeted at one person or a group of persons. If that is done, then we will get out of it. But in a situation where you target as perceived enemies and the people you think that are against your system or your government, then that won't be nice, because we know the root of, we know how hate speeches come about, and all of us are watching, the Nigerian state is watching, that when that happens, it is tackled from the root of the problem. If that happens, we are fine with it.
All right, the president talked about, urged Nigerians to channel their grievances through the constituted bodies. Now we have the members of the National Assembly, House of Reps, the senators, and even at the state level House of Assembly, and then the State Council. But Nigerians generally, do you think that this agitation should have been channeled actually through the representatives at the national level?
No, I don't agree.
Why not?
These issues we are talking about are too weighty to be channeled to the National Assembly. Of course, we as the people of the Niger Delta, we don't think that we will get justice in getting out of this situation.
Is it that you don't believe in your representatives?
We believe in the representative, we believe in the National Assembly, but of course you will agree with me that the National Assembly is not evenly represented. Particularly the House of Reps. Its representation in the House of Reps is based on local governments. For instance, you have 8 local governments in Bayelsa, which is the only just state that we have in this country. You have 8 local governments in Bayelsa, but you have over 40 local governments in some northern states. So how do you expect to get justice in that kind of National Assembly? That's why we don't think that National Assembly is where we will get justice as at today.
Because if they call for votes on
votes,
any motion,
we are very, very insignificant, and we don't expect to get something meaningful from there.
All right, so let's go back to the hate speech. You talked about what the president said as well, and you have done it that every Nigerian has the right to live anywhere. But then, apart from the northern group giving out an ultimatum, we have some groups in the Niger Delta as well giving ultimatum to people from other regions to vacate their region before October 1st. Is that right as well?
Well, yeah, it's all that's okay, but it's
okay or wrong?
It's not too much of a problem. You know, you need to get, for you to get to a level, you need to do some things to get to a level. It's not necessarily a problem. You are just saying that there are issues that you need authorities, you need people in government, you need people who are elected to attend to problems, to get to you to address these problems for you.
Well, if you just agreed that it is wrong for anyone to say that any other member of another region should vacate,
depending on the context, that statement was made. Depending on the context, that statement was made. Depending on the context,
so on the part of the Niger Delta, it's right that they are giving ultimatums to people from other regions?
I'm not saying that that's exactly right, but I'm saying that depending on the context that statement was given out.
So what would make it credible for anybody from any region to say that you are not part of us, leave?
I don't think that a group in the Niger Delta at some point in time said that some people in the Niger Delta should leave. I'm not aware of that.
Yoruba people and northern people should vacate
in the Niger Delta.
Indeed.
Why happened that they said so? I'm not aware of that.
But it was all in the news.
Yes.
It was all in the news.
The Yoruba people should.
It was all in the news that there was an ultimatum from the Niger Deltans that
to leave before October. To leave before October.
Yes, and as the leader of Ijaw Youth Council,
you didn't follow that development.
I don't think that is correct. We have no problems with the people from the West. We have no problem with anybody. We are law-abiding people. We are peaceful people, and we very, very hospitable people, and we are ready to live with everybody.
Okay, now let's see this from another perspective. We remember that prior to the independence of Nigeria, and even after independence, Nnamdi Azikiwe and the Sardauna Sokoto, all of them were very young people who were cutting across the length and breadth of the country, trying to sit down with each other and talk. Right now, the Ijaw Youth Congress International worldwide is a very formidable force in the South. Arewa Youth is another formidable force in the North. Has there been any avenue or platform where all the youth groups like yours and extend the hand of, okay, let us meet and talk at your own level with Arewa or even Masob or all of, has there been any avenue for you guys to talk?
Yeah, we are talking to ourselves. About a month ago, we met in Abuja. All ethnic nationality youth presidents met in Abuja, and we had far-reaching decisions. Though we are still dotting the I's and crossing the T's. We are yet to come up with our position.
What was the agenda of your meeting?
The agenda is unity. It's unity that we must. Arewa was there, Juanize, I was there, everybody that you think in the youth community was there. And it was quite, it was fruitful. And we are going to make it public that we are in agreement that we must live together. We mustn't threaten ourselves. We must live together as one people, as the same people in this country. Then this week again, by Sunday, I am hosting, as president of the Ijaw Youth Council, I am hosting all other ethnic nationalities president of the South-South Extraction in Warri Delta State. I'm going to host them. The topic is that we are going to talk about unity and peace and progress of this country.
Okay, let's move on now with the speech of the president and not the excerpt. President Buhari, in his speech, like we said, urged security agencies not to relent in ensuring that the peace and safety of Nigerians are guaranteed.
Charging the security agencies not to let the successes achieved in the last 18 months be a sign to relax. Terrorists and criminals must be fought and destroyed relentlessly so that the majority of us can live in peace and safety. Therefore, we are going to reinforce and reinvigorate the fight not only against the elements of Boko Haram, which are attempting a new series of attacks on soft targets, kidnappings, farmers versus herdsmen clashes, in addition to ethnic violence fueled by political mischief makers. We shall tackle them all.
Now, that was the president. Now, he also acknowledged that the challenges ahead of the country are enormous, urging Nigerians to put aside their differences and work together for the collective interest of the nation.
Our collective interest now is to eschew petty differences and come together to face common challenges of economic security, political evolution and integration, as well as lasting peace among all Nigerians. I remain resolutely committed to ensuring that these goals are achieved and maintained.
President Buhari there. Let's continue the discussion at this time, talking about security agencies and, of course, saying that they shouldn't relent in ensuring peace and stabilization in the country. And, of course, you have to agree with us at this time that the country somehow has been plagued with so many security challenges, from terrorism in the northeastern part of the country to kidnapping, herdsmen and farmers fighting, almost conflicts in every region of the country. So how encouraging do you think this speech is going to be to all security agencies across the country? Yeah,
this is very, you are hearing directly from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that is encouraging because for me, the military has done very well, but this is a wake-up call that whatever they have achieved in the past 18 months should not be put behind them, that they should go on and tackle all these security challenges, not only in the northern part of Nigeria. We have security challenges everywhere, even in the Niger Delta. And we encourage them, we are by them. The military is doing very well. And particularly in my territory, which is the Niger Delta, the joy extraction, I've had several meetings with the military formation to tell them that we are willing and ready to work with them, providing security intelligence reports for them to do their work peacefully. This is an encouragement to the military that they should do more. And the battle is not for the military alone. You and I can contribute. If you see a stranger walking by and you are not very sure of what he or she is doing, you can alert the security agencies, and that might save a lot of lives, because you can't tell what that person may have done if you have not made that call. So it's for all of us, and it's important that we are in agreement to do that.
All right. In the president's speech, he made reference to social media, to comments on social media, and he expressed lots of concern. And the concern are really talking about issues of unity of this country and all of that. But that is how social media runs. People express themselves. Sometimes they go overboard and all of that. But if the president is expressing concern from that regard, does it show that maybe he doesn't have an understanding of how social media runs?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, social media has come to stay. Social media is part of us. Social media is the instinct now. Of course, you will agree with me that we really felt the impact of social media during the 2015 general elections. And it was part of the campaign. And the president and the government, the presidency and the APC are beneficiaries of social media. So it has come to stay, and we'll continue to use it. It's unfortunate that sometimes it may be knocking, but that is not to say that social media social media will continue to use it. Social media positively or negatively, but I urge people to use social media more positively. Social media has come to stay, and it's important that all of us are involved. It's ICT we are talking about, and it's very key to whatever we do in this country today, particularly in dissemination of information in our electionary process. All right. It's very key.
Thank you very much for your analysis at this time. Perotebo Ilaimi, you're the president of Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, my brother.